Sorry guys, I'm trying something different.
It's okay.
Of course, it doesn't want to work today.
I'm just glad that I was able to get on.
Yeah. Okay, so we are actually live on YouTube. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to link this to Facebook. It is not ideal, but for some reason, Facebook is not working for us today. However, we are live right now on the city's YouTube channel. So I am going to put this link in the event and I'll put it on Fire's Facebook page too. So I'm going to take just a second to do that. And then we can get started.
If someone goes live to Facebook, they won't be able to see it, correct?
If they go to Facebook, they're going to get our link to YouTube that I'll just switch them over.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, that is out there. So sorry about the technical difficulties, everyone, but we are here. We are talking about the Battle Creek Fire Department today for about 30 minutes. So I have some great folks with me. I have Fire Chief Brian Sturdivant. I have Fire Marshal Quincy Jones, and they are going to start out by talking to you a little bit about what the fire department is up to and the fact that we are in the middle of Fire Prevention Week. So Chief, why don't you take it away and start us off?
I sure will. Thank you to everyone that is joining us this afternoon. Really appreciate all the community support, areas of interest that our customers have shown to the fire department. And we just really want to take advantage of this opportunity to share some of the great work that our members are and have been doing, and talk a little bit more in detail with the fire marshal about our current Fire Prevention Week and the activities. Right now, the organization is doing relatively well. We are in the midst of a pandemic, as everyone is aware, and our focus is on service delivery to the community, which basically means answering in a responsive manner the 911 calls that we receive. All of our support services have been suspended until we get a little further downstream relative to the pandemic. And when I speak to support functions, I'm talking about our smoke detector program, our carbon monoxide detector installation program, our ride-along programs for members of the community that are actually interested in what we do on a day-to-day basis. As you are aware, just for the sake of safety and minimizing any exposures, we have suspended those processes until further notice. We just recently completed a lieutenant's examination for lieutenant candidates that consisted of a written exam and an assessment center, to where we had an outside contractor come in and put our members through the paces so that they could show their knowledge, skills, and abilities as it relates to possible promotion to that lieutenant level. So we will have a list to be certified by the Civil Service Commission a little later on this month. We're very, very excited about that. We recently put into service a new fire engine at Station 2. We've had a great partnership with Spartan Fire Apparatus Manufacturing as it relates to the needs of the organization from a fleet standpoint. So the new engine at Station 2 was put into service a couple, 3 weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken. And it is serving the north side of the community there at our Washington Avenue station, serving the community very, very well. Very excited about that. We also are in the process of soon to be taking delivery of a new squad. And our squads are typically the 2-person pieces of equipment that serve as quick response apparatus for us so that they can address the medical calls that we receive, and also serve as manpower assist for firefighting efforts with our crews that are assigned to the engines and the rescues. So that's very, very exciting for us because we're looking to address some staffing issues with the eligibility list of possible lieutenant promotions. And we're also simultaneously addressing our fleet issues. So when we do place a new piece of equipment in service, the piece of equipment that it replaces typically goes into our reserve fleet and is on standby for us. So very, very excited about that. We have had some recent changes out at Station 4 with our ARF capability, which is the aircraft rescue firefighting capability out at the airfield. And we are now responding from Station 4 to any calls for service on the Air National Guard base and the airfield. And that helps us with an efficiency model to ensure that we have a good balance of firefighter and support that can serve the city, along with our partnership with the airfield and the military air base. So we're very, very proud of that particular partnership and look to keep that in place. As you are aware, this week has been Fire Prevention Week. The theme revolved around safety in the kitchen, and we've had to take on a different model due to the pandemic. So a lot of what we've done has been virtual, but it's been very, very robust in its nature. And with that being said, I will hand it off to our Fire Marshal, Lieutenant Quincy Jones, to expound on some of those efforts.
Hi, everyone. And again, we're glad to be able to sit in front of you here and discuss some of the ongoings of the Battle Creek Fire Department. As the chief mentioned, this year's Fire Prevention Week, there's a theme that is associated with every year. And this year's theme has to do with actually being entitled Serve Up Fire Safety in the Kitchen. And basically the theme speaks for itself. It talks about fire safety in the kitchen. And this is something that is very an important discussion with regards to safety tips because of the fact that fire in homes related to kitchen, cooking, and so forth are a leading cause of fires that we have. And so with that, some of the things that have been focus points for this year's theme have to do with things such as when it comes to cooking, we want to make sure that we're not leaving food unattended. We want to make sure that when it comes to cooking that we aren't wearing loose garments or loose clothing that we may potentially drape over a burner or over a skillet or whatever that may cause a fire. In addition to that, we also want to make sure that we have proper spacing and distancing from proximity of things that may be close to cooking elements such as burners and things of that sort, having a kids free zone and that being associated with a distance of 3 feet. Also, another factor is that we want to make sure that if we are cooking and we have let's say a small grease fire, that there are things that we know what to do. For example, one thing is having a cooking lid to a pot, a pan, or whatever it may be. And potentially if there is a small grease fire that we can handle, we can put that lid over the fire, the small fire, and actually remove it away from the burner and let it cool to basically try to mitigate a situation like that. The other thing too is that in our fire prevention information, all this is going to be brought out with regards to the theme, the safety tips, things like having a meeting place, the importance of that. All of that is going to be outlined in different venues that we have. First, the City of Battle Creek Facebook page. We also are going to have a continuous every Wednesday with regards to Access Vision on keeping you informed, where we basically for the whole month will be re-emphasizing the importance of this year's theme for fire safety. So we invite you all to please join in. Like the chief said, you know, we can't do things, unfortunately, the way that we would like to. This year's fire prevention open house would have been at station number 6 located at 2401 Capitol Ave Southwest. Because we weren't able to actually bring you into the station this year, what we thought that we would do is that we would bring you to the station by means of virtual media. And so when you get on Access Vision and you are able to see that, you're going to be able to see things such as the tour of the station, the firefighters that are at the station, that they're home away from home, where they are actually showing you safety tips and things of what to do with regards to fire safety in the kitchen, at their own station, in their own kitchen. And so you will be able to see that. You will also get to see, of course, what we demonstrate in the schools with regards to the importance of recognizing how to perform stop, drop, and roll. And then also you're going to see the firefighter get dressed in their turnout gears to show you what we look like when we come to your home. Basically, we call it donning and doffing, which is the equivalent of taking on or putting off, or excuse me, putting on and taking off our turnout gear. And so that the kids can actually see what we look like, and emphasizing the need to not be afraid and to recognize that we're there to help. So these are some of the things that we'll be focusing on. And again, we know that COVID is definitely an unfortunate situation for all of us, but we also recognize here at the Battle Creek Fire Department, City of Battle Creek, that it does not stop the need of practicing safety.
Thanks, Quincy. And again, everybody looking for those videos, it's good stuff this year. And if your kids are missing out this year on getting our crews to come see them in the schools, you can go find those on the City of Battle Creek YouTube channel, where we are right now. There's a whole playlist of Fire Prevention Week for 2020. And you can find all the videos that Quincy mentioned. And you'll also find them on the Battle Creek Fire Department Facebook page. Go follow them. They're really active and post a lot about all the great training and learning and things that the department is involved in. There's a lot of cool stuff there. Let's see. No questions so far. Glad to have some folks watching with us today. So that is great. Maybe we could do a little more education about the department and some of the specialized things like hazmat. And there's just some really cool things that our team knows how to do that maybe some people don't know about.
Great, Jessica. Thanks for bringing that up. We do have quite a few specialized operations that we partner with in conjunction with the 5th District of the Department of Homeland Defense and Security and Emergency Services with the state of Michigan. One of our bigger teams is our Hazardous Material Response Team. This is the team that is charged with oversight of any spill or loss of product in the city of Battle Creek. And as you all may be aware, we have quite a few trunked train lines that traverse through the city at different points. And at any given point in time, we will have multiple tanker train cars that will be carrying these hazardous materials, excuse me. So our hazardous material team, they are staffed with technicians, with operators, and with all of the department members having an awareness level of how to control, contain, identify, mitigate, and resolve some of the issues that we may have in relationship to the hazardous materials that are in our community. Now, everyone is aware that we have a pretty significant manufacturing community, maybe not as robust as it had been in past years, but still very prevalent. And a lot of that manufacturing will consist of working with hazardous material. So that threat is always there front and center. And I'm very, very proud of our hazardous materials team. They are all qualified, very competent. They are all certified with mandates at the state and national level as it relates to the level of training that they have. And we take that responsibility very, very serious, because at any given point in time, we will have to deal with some level of a hazardous material spill or lack of containment within our community. Another one of our specialty teams is our technical rescue team. Again, this is in partnership with the 5th District at the state of Michigan. And these are the members of the organization that have the confined space, structural collapse, high angle rope rescue training to provide a high level of capability from the organization in the event the community will need it. Typically, there's quite a bit of training that's done regionally as it relates to this particular team. But again, our members are highly qualified, very competent, and more important than anything else, they are certified. And that's what we hang our hat on at the end of the day, because all of us like to be trained. We like to be competent in what we do, but the certification is what allows us to mitigate the risk to the city relative to any liability that may be in front of us as it relates to those specialty teams. We also have quite a bit of training that takes place for swiftwater and ice rescue. We have been very, very fortunate in that regard, but there have been instances where there have been a situation at the Kalamazoo River, Battle Creek River, over at Gowack Lake, or wherever there's a body of water where our team has been deployed to assist local law enforcement with either search and rescue efforts or recovery efforts. And the team actually gets out in the middle of winter when there's ice sheeted, especially at Gowack Lake, and they train in those elements. Because again, we like to train exactly how we're going to operate. So from a firefighter standpoint in general, training is our bread and butter. We always train as if our lives depend on it, because quite frankly, at the end of the day, they do. Our lives do depend on our training. And what we try to focus on with our training is the level of repetition. We want a lot of the training capabilities to slowly transition to where muscle memory allows it to be instinctive. Because what we don't want is in the midst of an emergency, now we have to kind of stop and think and reflect. We want a lot of our training capabilities to be as instinctive as we possibly can make them, and just dialed into our muscle memory. So when it is time to perform a specific operation, it just becomes natural, and we always function within that team effort because we rely on one another, probably more so than any other emergency services responder. So we're very proud of that fact that we work as a team, we train as a team, we train as if we're going to operate, we train as if our lives will depend on it. And when there's a time for that training to be front and center, it's more seamless than what we could normally see if we have to stop and think and draw a plan. So we're very, very excited about that. I always like to try to take an opportunity whenever I have a public forum to just thank the members of the Battle Creek Fire Department. For those that may not be aware, you have an extraordinary fire department. We're small in numbers, but we're very, very robust in capability. And to a person, our training, the level of commitment to this community, the willingness to go above and beyond with customer service, it is shown on a daily basis within this organization. So I'm very, very proud of our members. And, you know, accordingly, I'd like to give our fire marshal some kudos. He basically is an army of one, if anyone understands what that means, because he gets a lot of things done with no staff, limited resources. And for the city of Battle Creek, one of our focuses is on economic development and trying to grow the revenue base in the city and trying to ensure that everything is compliant with life safety codes. And we've got the inspections that take place. And Fire Marshal Jones is also our lead investigator on the fire ground to help us determine what may have caused some of these fires. And he has made himself available day in, day out, 24/7, 365, to the point where I've always had to gently remind him, Lieutenant, you got to take some time off for yourself. And when you're on vacation, we're not going to bother you, because we do need him to stay fresh. We need his batteries to stay charged. And it could easily overwhelm just one individual without having a staff. So again, kudos to our members, kudos to Fire Marshal Jones for the work that they do day in and day out. They don't do it for the recognition. It's more of a passion. This level of work is not for everyone. It's just not. Some of the things we see, some of the things we do, it's just not a type of work that anyone could find themselves transitioning into. One of our big focuses right now is on the mental health, psychological health, and emotional well-being of our members. Not only do we function in an atmosphere where on the worst day of our customers' lives, that's when we kick in and go to work, that can become a bit overwhelming. You couple that with an individual's day-to-day life challenges, and it could be very, very overwhelming at times. And so we want to focus on our emergency assistance programs, our employee assistance programs that provide that level of psychological support. What we're seeing and what we've been trending over the last few years with public safety, not just fire, but PD officers and EMS responders, is a high level of suicide. And as a leader within the public safety environment, I am very, very concerned about that, as all my fellow fire chiefs would be, and police chiefs and EMS leaders. We are concerned about that trend because it does continue to climb. So we want to look for any and every opportunity to support our members based on paid time off. There are a number of opportunities to be able to just unplug, disengage, recharge your batteries, because in this line of work, you never really know what you're going to deal with until you're front and center. And sometimes it can shake you up emotionally. It can be a bit mentally traumatic for you. And we want to make sure that we've got those resources in place to support our members, because if we support our members, they are going to be a more positive resource to support the community. So there is a direct connection between our firefighters being able to take care of themselves so they can take care of each other, so they in turn can take care of this community. And we take that responsibility very, very seriously.
That's a really good point, and I'm glad you talked about that, Chief. And you know, we do have a great fire team, and they are so skilled and have so many awesome certifications like you talked about. For anyone who's watching that might be interested in fire service as a career, gentlemen, what is the best way for them to get started?
Well, I think one of the better ways would be to show a level of interest as it relates to just putting your best foot forward with your current level of education, whatever that may be, high school, if you're in your early couple years or two of college, just do the best that you can in that classroom environment. Once we get on the back end of the pandemic, we will be moving forward with our support functions. And at that time, you can actually complete an application to conduct a ride along with one of our fire crews so that you can get an up close and personal day-to-day feel on what our firefighters actually go through from the time they come on duty until the time they are relieved that next following morning. Battle Creek Fire Department, we typically like to keep a firefighter eligibility list current and active. And the current list that we have right now will expire about this time next year. So we'll be looking to roll out a very heavy recruitment effort for community involvement that will set the tone and provide the direction on how to actually apply for our organization and maybe find an opportunity to transition onto that eligibility list. But I would also recommend that don't stop at Battle Creek. I know when I was a lot younger looking for a firefighter job, I applied to every fire department in the region and just cast that net far and wide. So don't limit yourself to what's going on in Battle Creek if you are truly interested in serving your community or a community, because we do have a number of departments in the area that take on paid on-call volunteers that you could actually utilize to gain some experience, which would help you when you sit at the table with our process and take that written exam or that physical ability exam. So please cast your net far and wide. We're looking for good quality, character-driven, integrity-driven individuals. And for me as a fire chief, that is a lot more important than a binder full of certificates. We're very, very interested in just, the candidate that, has paid attention to mom and dad as you were growing up. Listen to grandma when she was telling you about the please and the thank yous and the excuse me's Those little things really speak to an individual's character. We can instruct and teach you everything that you will need to know to be a firefighter or an emergency services provider. But there are some things from a character standpoint that you will have to bring to the table. And those are the things that we definitely focus on during our hiring processes.
And Jessica, one of the things I want to say too is that that's why it's so important in the role of public safety in regards to even fire, police, that our presence, that kids, when we're in the schools, that they see our presence, that they see us, because they get a visual of basically what they may want to be. And we know that that goes far beyond firefighters and police, but again, that visual is so important in the futuristic development for our community as it relates to our future firefighters, our future police officers. One of the things that we've actively been involved in as well when it comes to trying to get people to look at the fire department as a potential professional role. Battalion Chief Huey and I, who was our first female battalion chief, we, and with the orchestration of the chief, trying to go into the different schools. One of the things that we've done is that we've gone to the career center, and basically during their career development program with regards to occupational focus, we've gone there to basically promote and market the fire department, to basically let people know what it is that you have to do, what is the structure, what does the testing look like, what things can you expect as you become a firefighter for the city of Battle Creek. And so in doing that, we're trying to prep and trying to almost like a recruitment of basically getting people geared towards that. Now, there's other things that we would like to see develop more in this with regards to programs that are dedicated towards the focus of the city of Battle Creek becoming a firefighter. And those are some of the things that we are looking into as well. But we definitely, one of the biggest things that we constantly try to focus on is maintaining and continual diversity in the department. And so these are some of the things that that we still, it's a work in progress, but yet at the same time, yes, we do look and anticipating to having more development and growth in our organization.
Great point, Quincy. Great point. Thank you for bringing that out.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you both. Believe it or not, we are almost to the end of our half hour for today. One of the things I thought we could talk about real quick, we are into fall, leaves are falling, and a frequent question that I know we get for the fire department is about burning. So can you talk a little bit about burning and what is allowed and not allowed, and just the things people need to know about that, since we're going pretty heavily into fall now?
That's a great question. Quincy, go ahead with that background expertise.
Okay, so I'm going to keep it short and simple, but very clear. First of all, when it comes to burning, the city of Battle Creek, in accordance to the ordinance, which is the adopted ordinance from the International Fire Code 2015, which is our adopted edition, you cannot burn leaves in the city of Battle Creek. If you are burning, you need to have a permit for open burning. An open burning permit is obtained through the city clerk's office. You can also go online to find out information pertaining to that. Within that permit, there are guidelines that basically state the do's and don'ts when it comes to burning within the city. You have to abide by those guidelines. Sometimes, people get things a little confused. Let's say you lived in maybe a nearby township or another jurisdiction. Sometimes the things in that jurisdiction are not compliant with the things that are within the city of Battle Creek's ordinance. So we want to make sure that, if we happen to be moving from one jurisdiction to another jurisdiction, that we are aware. It is your responsibility to become aware of what is the adopted ordinance for the jurisdiction that you are now in, and that being the city of Battle Creek, and knowing, what what things are considered to be compliant. And so when it comes to this, as you brought out, Jessica, the season of leaf season and so forth, that we do not allow burning of leaves in the city of Battle Creek, but yet there are things that you can burn, and those things that you can burn are specified in the burn permit. There are certain distances and proximities when it comes to things like recreational cooking. Your distance in even open burning is considered 50 feet away from a structure. So please, just make sure that you are following things within the city of Battle Creek that are in compliance.
And all of that information is listed on the city's webpage under the city clerk's individual page. So if there are any questions, you can refer to that webpage, and I'm pretty sure it will clear everything up. Thank you, Quincy. Great answer.
Yeah, that was great. And I'll make sure we link to that in the comments so that people can go there directly. Well, I am so super glad that both of you joined us live today during this fire prevention week. Anything else for the good of the community before we say see you later?
Yeah, I'd like to. I'd just like to add, thank you so much, Jessica, for what you do. I don't think we give you the kudos that you deserve, because I know how hardworking you are with your connections from a communication standpoint. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And to the community, if there are any questions or anything we can do from the Battle Creek Fire Department to better serve you, please don't hesitate to contact us. We are here in a multitude of areas to provide service to the community, and it does not always have to be emergency driven. Typically, we do find where folks don't have answers, they'll dial 911 because our firefighters will show up and provide some direction, and we take a lot of pride in that. So please be safe. The cool weather is here. The holidays will be here soon. Be careful with your cooking. Be careful with your heating sources. Ensure that you've got good ventilation from a carbon monoxide standpoint, and continue to help us ensure that Battle Creek is a fire-safe community. Thank you all so very much.
Thank you so much, Chief. Quincy, final words?
Yes, in lieu of what the chief just said, we also first of all, Jessica, thank you. We do appreciate everything you do. In addition to everybody else too that works for the city, we know that it's a team effort, a joint effort, and us all trying to accomplish the things that we do for our community. But also from the city of Battle Creek, from the Battle Creek Fire Department, we get so many people that thank us. We want to say thank you to others out there as well. Those that business owners that conduct business that in these challenging times, other frontline workers that are out there making sacrifices, and even when it involves their own family. So many times we get thank yous coming in to us. This is our opportunity. We want to say thank you from the city of Battle Creek, from the Battle Creek Fire Department, for all that you do in contribution for our community.
Well, thank you both again, and thank you everyone for watching. Hope you all be well.
All righty.